But it's like, because remember, because they help from an American perspective. It's so interesting.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mechanics Institute for our monthly storytelling showcase with host Corey Rosen. Again, my name is Alyssa Stone. I'm the Senior Director of Programs and Community Engagement here at Mechanics Institute, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all. Who is here at Mechanics Institute for the very first time? Awesome. And who is back to Mechanics Institute? Who's been to one of our storytelling showcases before? Oh, awesome. We love that. We have been having so much fun at these monthly storytelling showcases. Corey has been truly bringing together such an amazing slice of our community here to Mechanics Institute. We are super, super glad about that. If you're less familiar with Mechanics Institute, we were founded in 1854 as a membership institution. We are celebrating our 170th anniversary this year. We do weekly tours every Wednesday at noon, so if you're less familiar with our extraordinary space, please come back for a tour and check things out. We are an arts and cultural space, historical landmark, gorgeous multi-story library, world-renowned chess program, we're the oldest chess club in the United States, and an events center like what we're doing this very evening. We are a hub for writers, readers, cinephiles, chess players, and lifelong learners, and we hope that you'll come and join us for another program or join us as a member by visiting milibrary.org. We hope that you'll come back and come and engage with our incredible community. A couple things that we've got coming up. We have our final cinema lit of this month's theme, which is International Coming of Age Films. We're showing The Way He Looks, the Brazilian film, this Friday at 6. And then in May, we are doing all Elizabeth Taylor films, which we're really excited about. So definitely come and check that out. Our cinema lit curator, Matthew Kennedy, is a real expert and has a book coming out about Elizabeth Taylor as well. So it's going to be a beautiful combination of the story of her life and her filmography. We have chess tournaments coming up this weekend as well. We have a 2-day chess tournament for all of our chess players out in the audience. So do check out milibrary.org. If you have any questions about events, membership, or our benefits, please come and find me or one of my amazing colleagues like Nico Chet or Andy Taljikowski, and we'll be most happy to answer any questions that you may have. Now, enough of the business. Let me introduce our host for this very evening, Corey Rosen, and he is going to share about the format for this month's storytelling slam. But I'm very excited always to introduce Corey so that he gets his flowers for the evening. Corey Rosen is a writer, actor, visual effects producer, and storytelling teacher based in San Francisco. He hosts the Moth Story Slams and Grand Slams and has been featured on the Moth Radio Hour, Alice Radio's The Sarah and Vinny Show, and K-Fog's The Finch Files podcast. Corey is a performer at Bats Improv, one of the world's foremost centers for improvisational theater, and is the author of Your Story Well Told, Creative Strategies to Develop and Perform Stories That Wow an Audience, which we do have for sale on the back table, so you can take a piece of Corey's incredible artistry home with you this evening. For more information about Corey, visit www.coreyrosen.com. And with that, please give a warm Mechanics welcome to Corey Rosen.
All right, give it up for Alyssa. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out on a Wednesday night. It is April. How did that happen? Right? What is going on? It's crazy. I am so happy. Thank you, first of all, for those of you who have who've come time and again to these events that we put on. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is a series. We do this the last Wednesday of every month. It is always here at the wonderful Mechanics Institute. Give it up for Mechanics Institute. So grateful to be here to share this legendary historic space and to bring storytelling here. So my name is Alyssa, is Corey Rosen, and what's your name?
Alyssa.
What's your name? There's a whole audience participating here. So my name is Corey. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Welcome. You feel more welcome. And what I've been doing since about August of last year is curating a different format, really, every month. So I've been inviting different storytellers and and different, sort of trying different storytelling modes out from month to month. It's been a great kind of playground to be experimental. 1 month, was anybody here for the roulette storytelling that we did?
Yeah.
Where we spun a wheel and the storytellers didn't know what story they were going to tell. They got their prompt from the wheel. That was in November. We did spooky stories, or like sort of scary stories. But we were supposed to do that in October, but I got COVID. So we did those in December, so they were really scary because they were in December. They were months after the normal spooky story season. We've had stand-ups, we've had poets, we've had singers, we've had all kinds of things. And tonight, I'm specifically very excited because we're trying, again, a different format, which is that we are turning the show over to the audience, which is to say we are using the Story Slam format. So the show tonight will be made up of people sitting amongst you. So let's hear for them, because they're right there, and they're going to be, I don't think we have that many in here. I think everybody who put their name in is going to get to tell a story. And we have a good friend of mine, Abby Glover is our featured storyteller, so we will also be ending the show with Abby Glover. We'll get more into Abby later. This has been a very trying week for me personally. I'm kind of in the doghouse. Yesterday was my daughter's 16th birthday. My daughter Noli turned 16, yes. And I love my daughter. I don't always understand my daughter, but I love my daughter. And I wanted to do what parents of a 16-year-old want to do in this day and age. I wanted to celebrate her publicly. You know, I wanted to make a post on social media, right? And her friends are posting, and my parents have posted some cute pictures from her childhood, and my wife has posted a picture. And I drive her to school yesterday morning, and in the car, I go, which picture can I post? She's like, none of them. And I'm like, well, you know, can you approve a picture for me that I can post? She's like, okay, send me some options. So I drop her off at school, and I text her a bunch of pictures from my phone, just like pictures from recent vacations, and dressed up for the holidays, and a fun picture, a Halloween picture from a couple years ago, wearing one of those inflatable panda costumes, very cute. One where she's wearing my shirt and my glasses, and she's kind of making a me face, and it's like her kind of looking a little like nerdy like me, and every single picture I send her, no goof. By which she meant no good, but she wrote no goof. Spell check or whatever. So no goof to all of the pictures that I send. And no. And now it's getting later and later in the day, and I go to watch her softball game. She's pitching in her softball match. And I get to the field, and my wife is there, my daughter's pitching, and she's having a rough outing. And it's late in the day, and I feel like my window is closing of when I can like actually still make the Facebook approved window of saying happy birthday to my daughter. And so I tell my wife, I go, I'm just gonna pick a picture. And she goes, you better not. And I go, I'm gonna pick a picture. There's a couple that I sent that she has not no goofed yet. And I think that I might get away with one. So I chose, without her consent, I chose a picture, and it's a big, see, thank you. I'm getting tut-tuts, and I deserve that, because I should never have done that. Because when she got home, she let me know. She did not appreciate that, and I felt so bad that today I checked this book out of the library. It is called Underestimated: The Wisdom and Power of Teenage Girls. It's really good, and I'm reading it now because my aspiration in her 16th year is to do better. So I will do that. By the way, the picture is still there. It's a very good man. Alright, so here is the show that we have tonight. I'm going to pick the names out. Nico, will you please bring the basket of names, and I'm going to pick them out one by one, and I'm going to do things a little different. Some of the people here have seen me at the Moth. there is a time, there is a clock. I'm going to run a clock. It's actually a physical clock. You're going to see the clock in the corner, and it's got 6 minutes on the clock. But that's it. I'm not going to you're not in trouble if you go a little bit over, that kind of thing. But the guidance is to try to keep your story within the 6 minutes. And I brought it, it's handy. You'll see an actual countdown clock, right? Unless it's really distracting. And if it's really distracting, just look this way. Okay, so we're just going to get to it, unless there's any questions. Anybody have any questions about how this is going to go?
What's the theme?
Oh, great question. I'm calling the theme Out of Here. That's what I'm calling the theme. That said, I don't know that I told the storytellers that, so the stories may be on that theme, or they may not. But if they're not clearly on the theme, maybe make your own connection with how they may have been out of there. Like maybe they were out of the thing. All right, are you ready for your first storyteller?
Yeah.
All right, please welcome to the stage our first storyteller, Hope Silver! Hope, can I just introduce you a little bit? Hope is a new friend of mine. Hope is been really just throwing herself into storytelling, and even came to a book event of mine last week in Berkeley, has signed up for a class of mine, and is just really going for it. So I'm just delighted to be supporting you on your storytelling journey. Welcome to the stage, and we look forward to your story.
Hope Silver is my pen name. I have a strong Slavic accent because I'm from Russia. Maybe I shouldn't go on the stage here because I found out about this event at 4 p.m. And I was like, what is this theme? Out of here. What is that? I didn't even know what it means, so I found it out. And please forgive me if I say something wrong, but this story happened in Russia. It's also inspired by teenage daughter, but it was teenage brother back then. He was 16, and it was at my grandmother's place, the word dacha. It's like a garden, like a house and garden outside of the city. And I had to fix the fence of my grandma's place. Like the fence just was broken. And in Russia, I don't know how it's here in America, people just go to the forest. We have a lot of forests in Russia. And we just cut down the trees and just use them to build something. So I took the axe, I took saw, I took my mom, and my brother had to come to help. So we came to the forest, and some trees were already cut down. So I didn't have to do anything. And I was like, okay, great, because the cut looked pretty old, so people maybe did it like a week ago. And it's okay, but the one of the trees was really, like, it's already a log, not a tree, right? It was very, like, 7 meters. I don't know how many it's in feet. I just used this. 22 feet, okay. It was really heavy, and I didn't know how to pull it. I didn't have any car, nothing. Just it was 2 kilometers. How many miles? I still get used to this system here. So I had to pull this tree home to make it horizontal into the fence, and then make the plants to make a fence. So when I was thinking what to do, my brother showed up. He was 16, he was like this. Are you going to take this log? Someone cut it down for himself, like, or for herself, and you're going to steal from someone? Like, excuse me, it's a forest. These trees don't belong to anyone. Like, no, this log belongs to a person which cut it down. So obviously it was done like a week ago. If he needed like this log, he would take it already by now. And he was like 16 years old. Now my daughter is 18, she acts the same way, just like flashback every time. And I was like, can I say something better? Okay. I said, fuck you with your arrogance, I'm gonna take this log home. And I don't know, so I wasn't able to even just hold it a little bit. But when I talked to my brother, it's something like, I got some magical power, like something happened, I became so strong. When I said this, I just took this log, 7 meters, and I pulled it like more than 1 kilometer. through the forest. And then, maybe in 20, 30 minutes, I lost my anger. I lost my power to deal with my anger. But the thing is, because I said, I'm out of here, you're a person. And he didn't help. He just stayed in the forest with my mom, maybe discussing and saying bad things about me behind my back. And I was pulling this log. And that's it. Like in 20 minutes, I lost my power, and the log was just there. And I didn't know what to do. And one man was nearby, and so he attached this log to his car and pulled it like the rest of the distance. And when he helped me to get it closer to my house, I couldn't even do it again. So I don't know. Maybe this story is also an anger theme. But when I was out of there, it's surprising how such things can, I don't know, if you feel something with your daughter sometimes, but you don't have a log to check it. You have so much power. Yeah, so I made a fence and I found out new things about myself. And so this is the story.
It's a gift for you. Sorry. All right, Hope Silver, everyone. Please welcome Hope Silver. Yes, I have espresso beats for everyone. Unless you don't like them, then I have other things. All right. Thank you, Hope. Thank you for that, and thank you for connecting it back to my story. Our next storyteller, we're just going to get right to it, is Alyssa. Alyssa and I have been friends for many years. I'm just going to introduce the people that I know. Alyssa is also one of the producers of the Moth in San Francisco. It's called the Swing Producer because she swings. She's a swinger. That's a producer. Producing a swing. And a wonderful person. So please welcome Alyssa.
Hello. Hands together if you're familiar with the Peloton. It was never something I was interested in, actually. I like being outside, but I had friends who exercise, and my husband really wanted one. And gets set on something and gets it. So we were moving to a new house, new Peloton, also in my bedroom, and I thought, this is a bad idea. This thing is just going to hang clothes. It's going to be a clothes hanger. But that was 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, when that Peloton arrived in my bedroom. And sure enough, months went by and it was not used. And then, you remember 4 years ago was 2020, a little pandemic came, and that thing that just sitting there collecting clothes and collecting dust turned into the thing my friend said, you know what would make you feel better, because I was not feeling good about the world, is exercise. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get on this Peloton, pedal myself to feeling better. But it was hard. I took the first class and had everything on the lowest setting, trying to pedal through 15, 20-minute class, and it was hard. And I thought, am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing it. So I get on another class, another day, and I pedal, and I think there's an endorphin thing, was something to it, right? It was helping me feel better, and I would stick with it. And I would pedal, and 15-minute class turned into a 20-minute class, a 20-minute class turned into a 30-minute class, 30-minute class to a 45-minute class, until the point where I actually wasn't just pedaling on the easiest setting, I was actually making it hard for myself. I was feeling stronger, feeling more fit, and I was like, okay, I can get this whole spin class thing my friends have been doing for years. So I was doing it until January of 2021, when I got a little pain in my hip, but just the right hip, and I thought, well, that's odd. Let me call my doctor, and my doctor says, it's shingles. And I say, that's not possible. I'm not 50 until June. But sure enough, my doctor said, no, my younger sisters had it. You don't have to be over 50 to get shingles. So here I am with this enormous pain in my hip and ice packs on it, no Peloton, and I was loving the Peloton because the Peloton instructors will tell you, like, you got this, girl. Get everything out of here, all those bad feelings, all that negativity, get it out of here. You got this, you're strong. And I was feeling that for months and months, and now all I've got is this pain. I can't feel my own energy, can't feel the instructor's energy, nothing. And that pain lasts for a little while, I think weeks. And then finally the shingles pain is gone. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back on this Peloton, try to feel good again. As soon as I start pedaling, 5 minutes in, like, there's this pain. What is going on? So I call my doctor. I'm like, the shingles are gone. What is this pain I'm feeling? And the doctor says, well, there's going to be nerve damage, and you'll have that for a while. I'm like, well, how long? Like, I need my Peloton now. This thing I did not want, I need now. And he says, well, it could be months, it could be years. No. So I'm determined. I get on, 5 minutes, pain, get off. 5 minutes pain, get off. But then I work into 10 minutes and 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay. It was hard the first time when I got on this Peloton. Apparently it's going to be hard the second time when I get on. But I'm going to do it because I know that the endorphin thing is true. And I know those instructors are going to tell me that I can do this, I got this, and they're going to pump me up. So I get on, and I'm doing the Peloton, and I do. I work back up to like my previous 45 minutes of strong pedaling. And then that same year, 2021, in October, my marriage ends. And not in a good way, not in an unexpected way, just it's over. And I think, God, don't do this again. Because it was my second marriage. And it really, the first time didn't go well. I'm not made for divorce. But the second time, really, I could do this again. And I know it's the right thing to not be in this marriage anymore, but I don't want to go through this divorce again. And oddly, the little Peloton imagery comes up in my head, and I think, wait a minute, that first time was really hard. It was really hard, and it took me a long time to get through it. But then I felt strong. Shingles. Second time, though, also hard. But I did it. I toughed it out, and I got through it. So I thought, okay, I don't want this divorce, but I also don't want the marriage. So I'm just going to tough it out, like I did on the Peloton, and I'm going to get through it. Thank you.
I love the way you tried that at the end. I really relate to that. As also a recent 50-year-old, not the shingles part, but during the pandemic, one of my happy things was running. I would go running around Lake Merced, and my ankle just would hurt terribly, and I went to see an ankle doctor who said, yeah, you're not a runner anymore. I go, what am I? He goes, from now on, you're a swimmer, you're a cyclist, and you're a poet. He saw me. He really saw me. All right. Okay, our next storyteller is the one and only Abdul Kenyatta. While Abdul is coming up, I will also plug that Abdul also has a book that is for sale. I think maybe 2 books for sale on the back table, and a little flyer for a show that he is producing that I am in. That is coming up next month. Next Sunday. Next Sunday, that I will be telling a story in as well. He is producing it. It's called Speakeasy Storytelling Series, and he's a great person. And welcome, Abdul Kenyatta.
Actually, he was not invited to tell the story.
What? Oh, I'm the host?
Yes,
Oh,
so please be mindful of that. You know, in the 60s, I was what you call a rapper. You know, I mean, I was like the best rapper. I was like the master rapper and the supreme capper. You know, it didn't get any better than being the rapper that I was. And I was extremely good at rapping. And I remember in the 90s when my son came up to me one day, and my son was like, yo, Pops, yo, Pops, yo, Pops. And I never really figured out why in the 90s, all the young black guys, whenever they spoke to you, they had to hold on to the accent. Is it still there? I never was able to figure out what was happening with that, you know, so I said, he said, man, you got to listen to this, you got to listen to this. I said, you know, I don't allow certain kind of music in my house. He said, but this is Tupac. Pop, you got the ear, Tupac. He's the best rapper of all time. I said, you know that there's certain words that I don't allow in my house. And does he say those words in his song? He said words in us. I said, you know, bitch, motherfucker, whole shit, nigga. I said, Pop, you don't understand. This is rap. This is RAP. This is revolutionary African poetry. I said, son, you know, when I was your age, rap was spelled W-R-A-P. And a rapper was a guy who rapped women in the eloquence of his charm and I mean, how do you think I caught your mother? See, I was standing on the corner of Dewey Square and made some arrangements to meet my partners there. I was high and fly, rapping very bold, along came my man, Big Money Van, his gold interior Rolls Royce car. As Van came up to take my hand from the corner of my eye, I did slide, moving with a sexy stride, what we used to call a bold, cold mama. She was pretty and trim, believe me, Jim, she knew she was looking fine. With a song in my heart and a smile on my lips, I knew that I'd make her mine. So, Bella said, D, I'm glad we met. She said, how's about a bite to eat? So we all agreed on some boss feed at Zerkoff's down the street. Now, Zerkoff's was for the elite. And although this was my first flight, believe me, Jack, and I look back, I was clean as before that hell. 3 players, truly sported ribbons of blue, we painted a picture of wealth. Now, a captain named Abel, he serviced our table. He served rare old wine, vintage 1879 from the cathedrals of Spain, that was refreshing and cocaine. We had escargot and truffles, we had duck around flambe, we had hummingbird hearts and other red parts, mashed potatoes a la king. Green mint flavored ice cream that was covered with moss and boss. Then feeling quite willing and able, I leaned across the table and I said to her, baby, I believe deep spiritual needs drew us together. We blend like the fragrance of flowers blossoming in the gardens of the motherland, and like wind swept from the sea, my spirit has sought you out. And all I want you to do is to bathe me in the naked warmth of your knowing smile, sharing the sounds of my soul, brown sugar soul system, my warm dark room of Africa. I think I love you. And that, my son, is rap.
One more time for Abdul King. Beautiful words. Beautifully said. All right, our next storyteller is Irene Cohn. Irene, are you here? Yeah! Woo! All right, I don't have to know Irene is coming out. Let me say, I do not really know Irene very well. But Irene, are you a member of Mechanics Institute?
Yes, I am.
Which would make us officially our first, other than Zorba, our first member of Mechanics Institute. You're the first. I'm so happy. Thank you for being here.
It's my, I've never done this before.
You haven't? Okay. Are you okay coming up here? You want me to bring the microphone down there? I will actually. You want to sit or stand?
Don't stay. No.
Really? What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to extend it so that it kind of. That's what happens. All right. Imagine. Okay.
Can you hear me? You could go a little further away.
Well, I just want it to be, yeah, you have to get out a little bit closer.
Yeah. Really? Yep. Yeah, I've never done this before. My name is Irene Cohn. And for about 20 years, I was a diplomat with the State Department. I lived overseas and so on. And during that time, you know, I paid a lot of attention to my clothes. I wore, you know, I developed this outfit of blazer and sweater and pants, and most of it black, and it worked wherever I went, day or night. So it's been a few years since I've retired, but I always try to keep up my appearances, and of course this doesn't help at all. But at any rate, I was dropped off one day after Tai Chi up by Trader Joe's. And before I went to Trader Joe's, I went to CVS, and they had vitamins on sale, and I had coupons, and I came out with a big sack of stuff from there. And on the way from CVS to Trader Joe's, I passed the plant stand that they have there, and I picked up a gorgeous basil plant. I went into Trader Joe's, exchanged the walker for a basket, or the plant in the basket, my bags, my ones I hadn't been used, the one that was full. And I enjoy walking around the store. I love the smells of the flowers and the food and whatnot. And I get to the checkout counter, and I realize I'm in trouble. So the additional 2 bags that I had brought, they were full. And I had to get 2 more bags from Trader Joe's with, you know, the ones that have the 49er with the shovel or whatever it is. So at this point, I had 3 bags, and I'm kind of ashamed I have that basil plant. I can't do it today. So I've got 5 bags now on the walker. I get outside, and I realize I need a bag of potting soil. So I cross the street, you know, where it is on California and High, there's the hardware store. So I pick up a sack of potting soil, and it's such a beautiful day that I decide I'll try to walk down the hill to Polk Street and go out of the closet while I'm out in this lovely day. So I'm walking down, and I don't know if you've ever been with one of these on a slope. But I walk like this all the way down the hill, and I get out of the closet. And by this time, I'm so loaded I can't get it forward. I have to sidle through the door. The guy looks at me and he says, "Oh, you're bringing donation?" I said, no. Now, if you've been there, you know you're supposed to check your bags before you walk around the store. But the manager looked at me and went like that. Of course, I managed to find a few things, little jackets with their little tags on them, and some dishes, and some Michael Connelly novels. So I get out through the checkout, and I'm walking down Polk Street, kind of taking my time, and suddenly I get to Bush Street, and I realize I've had it. So I leave the wall, and I call an Uber. And then I go brain dead. I'm sort of standing there, and I hear somebody going, "Hello, hello." I see anybody. "Hello, hello." Finally, in the 3rd call, I look across the street, and there's a homeless encampment there. The 2 guys are arguing over, you know, whose possessions are worth more. And sitting in the middle is a poor obese woman with hair blowing in all directions. And she said, "Honey, come on over. You can sit with us." And I said, "Thanks, I'm out of here."
Here we go for Irene Cohen. Cohen, right? Cohen.
Like ice cream cone.
Like ice cream cone. All right, Irene Cohen. I'm gonna donate a nice stand.
You're all seated.
There we go. All right. There we go. We'll fix this back up. Thank you for that, Irene. That maybe remember I have to go to Trader Joe's. Among other things. Oh, thank you so much. Look at that. Well, I don't really even have to do this because there's only one more name left in here before you. This is before Abby. And I think I know who it is. So please welcome, turn up, William Humdicky.
I always see, is that it? Hope and I will be trading notes after this.
Oh, good. Okay, are you ready? All right.
That wasn't my yellow pee in my toilet. I lived alone. And how did that pee get there? It was 1994, I was 23 years old. And I just moved to Rosen, Russia to start a 1.5-year volunteer assignment. And I worried that the Russian people wouldn't welcome me, and even more worried about that the Russian state might harm me. But they did welcome me. The local newspaper wrote an article stating, "The new American Center is a hornet's nest of CIA spies." The welcoming face of William Humdicky? Don't believe it. They got the welcoming face part right, but the only thing I knew about spying was from spy novels. So the first 2 months, I lived in this government hotel. And in the hallway was a desk that was staffed 24 hours a day by a crew of women. Every time I would enter and exit my hotel room, one of the women would be on duty, and she'd glare up at me and write down my movements in a notebook. And then, after my first day of full work, I come back to the hotel, and I noticed that things are kind of out of place. My journal, which I had hidden under my blue shirt upside down, was now face side up. And that freaked me out. There was no tidying up by the hotel staff. This was spying. So I sat in my bed that night staring at the walls, looking for the microphones and the cameras. And the next morning, I got out of the shower and I thought, do I want to cover up my private bits? Or am I going to prance across the room with it all hanging out? I said, screw it. The Russians want to see an American? I'll show them an American. All of me. And then I chickened out. Because I thought, I wonder if they doctored those photos and tried to blackmail me. So after 2 months, I finally found an apartment and I moved out. I was so happy to just have some privacy. But when I made phone calls on my landline phone, I'd hear a click. I felt like I was living in the novel 1984. Big Brother was watching and listening. And one day I go into my office, and one of my Russian colleagues, Irina, says to me, "William, you shouldn't go to the neighborhoods on the other side of the train station. They're dangerous." And I kind of just look at her and say, okay. The previous weekend, I'd gone for a run by myself without telling anybody in those neighborhoods. I'm like, how the hell did she know that I went there? Was she a spy? Were they all spies? I needed to find out. So I decided on my daily runs, I would try to find the Russians spying on me. And I didn't see any other runners in Rosen, Russia, so it was easy for them to surveil me. I ran regular routes up and down the main streets, so the KGB or whatever it was would have an easy time. And then decided I'd mess around with them. I decided to run erratic routes in unconventional places. So I was running down the street and at a 5-story tall Stalin apartment complex, I took a quick right through the archway into the inner courtyard. And I entered a part of Russian life that I'd never seen before. There was a family, parents with their 3 kids laughing in the playground. And then one day I ran into an old Soviet amusement park and I saw 2 lovers sitting in the ruins of a Ferris wheel making out. And I ran down by the river another day and down this dirt path, past these cottages, and straight into an open casket funeral procession. And as the family with tears in their eyes stared at me, I tried to divert my eyes from the ghoulish figure of a man in the casket. And so as I ran around, I always looked over my shoulder to see if I could find the Russians following me, and I didn't. But one day, after a run, I really had to go to the bathroom, so I rushed into my apartment and ran into the bathroom, turned on the light, and stood in front of the toilet, and I saw the yellow pee. That wasn't my pee. My mom taught me to flush the toilet, and I did all the time. So the hair stood up on the back of my neck, and like a hornet whose nest had been invaded, I grabbed my comb and had a pointed end to it, and I ran through my apartment looking for the invader. I dived onto the floor next to my bed, and I looked under the bed, nobody there. I tossed open the doors to the cabinet that holds my clothes, nobody. I had read in spy novels that the KGB sometimes would leave signs of intimidation when they come into somebody's residence. A cigarette butt, in this case, yellow pee. And I was just really freaked out and scared. I thought, if the Russian state could get into my apartment, they could come in and drag me out of there. But if it weren't for these runs that I went on where I was trying to find the Russian state surveilling me, I never would have gained the insights I got into the lives of the Russian people. Russian people who laugh, love, and grieve, just like us. Keep it up for William
Fabulous. All right, it is your time. Our featured storyteller tonight is let's say, it's an old friend of mine. Abby and I met right at the very beginning of the pandemic, and Abby was working on some stories, some performance, some things that has just over the last few years grown, and she has gone to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and been developing her own material, and tonight we get a little piece of that. So please welcome Abby Glover! Okay.
All right.
All right.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Right. I've been unstaffed for the past 2 days after wrapping up my longest case ever. 4 whole weeks. Being unstaffed or on the beach is the best. You literally get paid to do nothing. You don't even have to come into the office in pre-pandemic times. I came into the office today because Fridays rule. Yeah, we get free catered lunch, and unlike a lot of our peers, our company prides itself on having no work weekends. So Fridays really do feel like the start of something special. It's 4 p.m. I'm just getting ready to go home when I get an email. Hi, Abby. Can you please confirm your availability for a 2-week due diligence on skilled nursing facilities at your earliest convenience? Thanks. Betsy, Senior Staffing Manager. "10 years ago, between my sophomore and junior years of college, I went to business camp. And that's where I first learned about management consulting. And I wanted to be a management consultant ever since. Well, and I'm a history major, so I have to gain some real useful skills for the job market. Oh, at business camp, they say management consulting is a job for people with job ADD. Well, because you get to jump from project to project, team to team, industry to industry, solving all sorts of different kinds of problems, and you travel. Yeah, management consultants always have airline status. And the way everyone's talking about it, management consulting, I can tell. Only the smartest people who went to the best schools get to become management consultants. Or maybe they just know the right people. But regardless, it's a job people aspire to, which means there must be a lot of money in it. And I like the sound of that. I never want to worry about money. So my last 2 years of college, I worked really hard to get those interviews for full-time management consulting jobs. And that's when I come face to face with the case interview. Yeah, can I get you to estimate the GDP of the world from the beginning of time? Like I said, I'm a history major. Yeah, so I start to short circuit. Because when does time begin? And are we including the bartering economy? How are we going to quantify the bartering economy? Well, I guess I'd take the GDP of the world today, do something about inflation, and regress it backwards to whenever time began. Can you expand on that? No. So I don't get the job in management consulting right out of college, but I do get a job in consulting. There isn't a case interview for this one, just behavioral. Yeah, so what would you say is your greatest weakness? I got this. Oh, I'm a perfectionist, which means I'm always trying to get everything right. But it's also a strength, because it means I always do my absolute best, no matter how many of my own boundaries it violates. But I didn't realize that consulting had such a broad definition. Turns out it's kind of like cheese, you know? One broad category, lots of different types. Like, if management consulting is brie, something rich, sophisticated, expensive, what I'm doing is more like a big block of reliable, unassuming Whole Foods 365 brand mild cheddar. Digital transformation, risk management, compliance. Over 2 years, my projects get longer and less varied in subject matter. But I have job ADD. I want to scream, I need a change. And when I'm not granted one fast enough, well, I quit. A partner at the company tells me in my exit interviews, you know, Abby, the grass isn't always greener. And he isn't wrong. No, at 24, I become a job hopper. Changing jobs every 1 to 2 years, always moving laterally, never up. Always making $65,000 a year. And they always say, know your worth. So I try to negotiate, you know. I do my market research on comps and I look up inflation and I present the number. I won't settle for anything less than $70,000. It's 65. Okay. Where do I sign? But by the time I'm 27, I'm sick of it. I want to prove to everyone that I'm worth more than $65,000. Business school. It'll require $150,000 worth of student loans, but with that Master's of Business Administration, an MBA, I'll be unstoppable. Money, there's an info session with free food for management consulting interviews. Ah, the type of consulting I've always dreamed of. A real consultant. The creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, the brie of consultants. 3 main firms, not companies. No, they're more than that. McKinsey, Bain, BCG. I don't get a job at any of those when I graduate, but I do get one at a 2nd-tier spot. And we're actually an offshoot of one of the big 3, so we like to think that gives us more clout in the market. And we actually have the highest starting base salary of them all, $170,000. But it turns out I'm still not really doing management consulting. Even though they sold it as brie, it's more like American cheese. Because I'm mostly doing private equity due diligences, specifically, which are basically like market research for hyper-demanding clients. And specifically, I'm doing mostly these 2-week sprints where a private equity firm will come to us and be like, hey, we want to buy this company and we really needed the market assessment yesterday, so we know this is an insanely tight timeline for the amount of work required, but hey, time is money, am I right? And then the partners at our firm are like, sure, we can do it. And by we can do it, they mean Abby and the associates can do it. And Abby does it. Oh, she stays up all night coding surveys, and she calls Bobby G, who's stacking shelves at the Best Buy in Iowa City, because he's the expert who's got to let her know what he's stacking and where for the Kindle industry market size. And she Control Alt Shift L left aligns all the text boxes on the PowerPoint slide. And thankfully, she has her associate friends who help her with Excel, because she doesn't know how to build a robust model, and there's no time to learn. And I can't quit. No, I can't quit. Because my student loans, that live on my back, sucking my blood like an engorged leech. And I can't quit because they own me. Because my starting bonus, $30,000, which they gave me a year ago, which I've since spent on said student loans, requires 2 years of unquestioned servitude, shackling me to this job until they decide that I've put in enough work and earned back their generous advance and my freedom. And I can do the job. I can do the job, and I can do the job really well. And I know that because we compared our salaries and bonuses across my class of consultants, and I know I'm a top performer. And I also know that's why I keep getting burned. Because I'm a perfectionist, and I'm insecure. So I stay up all night just to get that damn slide right. But I raised my hand a couple of times because I'm on the edge. I told them, this is too much job ADD. I am breaking. I need a break. It's Friday, 4 p.m. I've just wrapped up my longest case ever. 4 whole weeks. Been on the beach since Wednesday. I finally feel like I can breathe. I can do this. Hi, Abby. Can you please confirm your availability for a 2-week due diligence on skilled nursing facilities at your earliest convenience? Thanks. Betsy, Senior Staffing Manager. What? No. This can't be. Another 2-week due diligence? The 17-hour days, the sleepless nights, no time for family, friends, working out, eating anything other than takeout delivered to the office day and night, morphing into an unshowered, bloodshot eyeball of nerves on the brink of collapse? No. Hi, Betsy. No. I cannot confirm my availability at this time. Thanks. Betsy leaves her office, walks towards my desk. What do you mean you can't confirm your availability at this time? I won't be here next week. How do you know that? We didn't approve vacation for you next week. Well, Betsy, you're going to have to take that up with my therapist. And due to the few laws out there that protect employees from employers, she can. And I take my short-term disability leave, and I start to plot my way out. Thanks, everybody.
time, let's hear for Abby Miller. All right, Abby is now looking for employment, by the way. Maybe has a job in their time. Let's bring up all the storytellers to the stage that were in the show. The cast of our show. Come on back. While they're coming back, just a couple of things. First of all, I'm just so delighted that this is ongoing. We are doing our next one the same time, so it will be next month in May. It'll be, I think, 25th of May, which is the last Wednesday in May. 29th, 29th of, come on the stage. It is going to be back to the a different format, the curated format. So I'm going to be inviting storytellers to that show, and Irene Cohn might be one of them. We'll see. Wasn't she great? And other things that are coming up, check out the Speakeasy Storytelling Series. There are flyers there. It is great. It's going to be at the, where is that? Oh, it's on 24th Street. Oh, no, it's the old Sears building, yes. Yes, the old Sears building on like Mission and, Cesar Chavez and Valencia, I think is where it is. Let's take a group picture.
Ready,
Everybody?
1, 2, 3. Gorgeous.
Also, for being here, my name is Rosen. We'll see you next time.